Welcome to another edition of our YouTube channel, Southeast Asia Vibes, The Good Life. My name is Victor. I'm a former resident of Canada in the United States. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to live in a beautiful tropical paradise. So when I was able to, I moved to Miami, Florida. And Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, the South Florida area, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful places in the world. When you live in a tropical environment with beautiful weather year round, it really can enhance your quality of life. So that's why I've always wanted to live in a tropical place. Now, unfortunately, in Miami, within a span of 2 to 3 years, my rent literally tripled. Food prices were rising. It just became unaffordable, and reluctantly, I left. From there, I moved to another beautiful tropical destination. I moved to Honolulu, Hawaii. I was living in Waikiki, which also became increasingly unaffordable. At that point, I said to myself, there has to be places in the world where I can live a Western standard of living like Hawaii or Miami, but for much cheaper. That's what brought me, and not only me, but several of my friends here to Southeast Asia. I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can live the life of your dreams working 2 or 3 hours a day, a life of leisure like you're on vacation every day if you know what you're doing. Now, a lot of these other YouTube channels, they tend to sugarcoat things, exaggerate things. They only want views or subscribers, and they make it sound like it's easy to work online, make a lot of money remotely. That is not true. And a lot of the things what they're suggesting, they do not materialize. They're mostly nonsense. However, several of us have been living here for 8 years now. We know exactly what works because we've been doing it ourselves, our source of income online. And I am here to tell you that you absolutely can live the life of your dreams here. Make no mistake. But if you don't know what you're doing, will be a quick one-way ticket back home. We get several inquiries daily from people seeking our advice, our guidance, and we can answer all your questions by email one by one. Many people also prefer a WhatsApp phone call. We can do that as well. Let's get started in today's video. In this video, we discuss how the beautiful island of Bali in Indonesia, the prices have been steadily rising to the point where it's a ripoff, not necessarily by international standards, but by local standards, absolutely yes. Now, Bali is an island where Bali is basically overcrowded. You have this issue of over tourism. Uh, if you're on the beach in Bali, I can guarantee you more times than not, it's just going to be so crowded, and you're going to have all these tourists that are making a lot of noise. And the locals have openly complained about this issue, the noise factor that all these tourists are bringing in. And I can assure you it is a big issue in Bali. Now, if you go to some of the other islands, not just in Southeast Asia, but other islands in Indonesia itself, such as Flores Island, Indonesia, Lombok Island, Indonesia, the Kai Islands, Raja Ampat Island. These are islands that you get the same high standard like Bali without the crowds, without the high prices. The only difference is that these lesser known, less popular islands, they have less development, less construction. And that's good because you can see the natural beauty. So, in other words, you just don't have as many choices for accommodation, for restaurants like you have in Bali, like you have in Denpasar, Bali. But for me, that's fine because whatever accommodation they have, whatever restaurants they have, the food is delicious. The accommodations are Western standard as well, with far lower prices. And you just don't have those crowds in these islands like Flores, like Lombok, like the Kai Islands. You just don't have the crowds like you have in Bali. And I'm not saying that Bali is not beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. But I can guarantee you that if you're on the beach in Bali, it's chances are it's going to be very crowded Whereas if you go to some of the other islands in Indonesia, like Lombok, like Flores, like the Kai Islands, you might be the only person standing there on the beach. I mean, who would not love that? So not only do you have the benefit of far, far less crowds, but it's far cheaper. Who wouldn't want that? But all in all, I'm saying that Bali is a nice place to visit. But would I personally go there? No, I would rather go to the other islands, which are far less crowded and cheaper, and get the same thing, the same, basically the same experience as Bali without the crowds and the high prices. But that being said, I do think it's worth a visit. But if the prices continue to rise anymore, then it's just going to be a blatant ripoff. That's it for this edition of Southeast Asia Vibes, The Good Life. Until next time, take care, everybody.